Hi everyone, welcome to your Yin practice. You will need a few props for this practice, but you don't need yoga props. You can use what you can find around the house, that's fine. A blanket or a thick, sturdy towel will be great. So when you have that, make a roll with it. And the roll needs to be pretty firm, and then that will go down the back of your mat. You will also need a bolster if you have one, and if you don't, a pillow from your bed is perfect. And if you have a yoga block, that's great. And if you don't have a yoga block, a thick book, or even, funnily enough, cans from the pantry are pretty handy. We won't be using the block so much, and you might not even need it at all. A pillow from the bed and a towel or blanket is much more important. So press pause, go get what you need, and then we'll get started. So when you're ready, take your blanket roll lengthways down the back of your mat if it's not there already. Come and sit in front of it and hug the end in towards your low back. I want your bum still down on the ground though. As you lie down, the blanket roll will line underneath the spine, directly underneath. Back of head is also on it, so it needs to be long enough for the whole length. Buttocks are on the ground. There might be a bit of discomfort around the low back, and you just need to shift and shuffle, and that'll become more comfortable over time. You can choose knees bent, soles of feet to the ground. You can choose legs long, or maybe even soles of feet together, knees wide. I prefer soles of feet to mat, knees high, with my knees knocking inwards towards each other with this one. And then take your arms either wide out to the side, back of hands down, palms up. Or better still, a gentle cactus arms with the elbows bent. But the forearms need to be down on the ground, the elbows need to be down on the ground, and ideally the back of the hands. You can put something underneath the back of the hands so there's some support there, so you're not just like this holding up in space. I want you to be able to relax into this so the arms can be heavy here. Close down your eyes. What we're doing here is allowing a gentle opening across the chest, the front of the ribs, the front of the shoulders, you should be able to relax. If you find it's too strong and you can't, just make your blanket roll a bit smaller. But don't look for a big, strong sensation here either. So don't be like, oh, I need a bigger roll. You probably don't. Subtle is better. And close down your eyes. Drop into your breath. Let's let our practice begin. Find the rise and fall, belly and chest. Let yourself explore rhythm of breath. And set something that feels manageable and maintainable. If your breath is uneven today, if you are unsettled, place a count to your breath, a 4 for the breath in, and maybe a 5 or so for the breath out. And lean more of your focus to your exhale. Your exhale is linked with your parasympathetic nervous system. It can push the body into that rest state very quickly. yin practice today, our holds aren't super long, a couple of minutes in each. Take about another 4 breaths here. Letting all the distractions off your mat and around you just fade away. Allowing the sensations in your body to take center stage. And just really enjoying being present. Last breath here. Breath in. A big sweep of your arms down by your side. Be careful. Move slow. Flip your palms down. Rest your arms down by your side, palms down for a moment. If you chose any other leg variation, take a bend into the knees, soles of feet to mat. One more breath here in rest. And drop your knees out towards the left as you roll off your blanket roll. Press your way all the way up into a seated cross leg. But keep the blanket rolled up and sit on top of it. Just take it towards the back of the sit bones. And take a cross leg, and the blanket roll with the elevation of the pelvis should make your cross leg a little more comfortable. And if for any reason a seated cross leg is not okay for you, change into another seat that is better. Keep your right hand down on your right thigh. Take your left arm, wrap it behind you. Your left hand will hold your inner right elbow. Drop your chin to your chest here. Take a breath in. As you exhale, take your right ear to your right shoulder. Notice something down the left side of neck. Now let's play around with the exact position of your head. Start to tuck your chin down towards your right collarbone. Notice where you feel this in the left side of neck. Keep the right ear to the shoulder, but start to tilt the chin up away from the collarbone. Pull the jaw forward. Notice where you feel this. Probably more jawline to collarbone on the left side. And then with your eyes closed, you have about 10 breaths. You can move between the two variations. You can go anywhere else. If you're moving, move very slowly. Find a sweet spot and stay there for a couple of breaths. Relax the jaw, the face. This should feel really good. Notice how even the most subtle shift of the position of your head, your jaw, gives you a completely different experience in that left side of your neck. Couple more breaths. This is one of my favorite things to do. You can do it anywhere, anytime. You don't need any props. It's really great for those of us who grind teeth or clench a jaw, carry tension in the neck. Last breath in. As you exhale, roll your chin to center, to the chest. Keep your eyes closed. Release your left hand to your knee and lift the head. Take a big roll of the shoulders up and back. Left hand stays to the thighs. Your right arm wraps behind you. Grab the inner left elbow. Let that right shoulder drop from the ear. Chin falls to chest. Take a breath in. Left ear towards left shoulder. Begin to feel the sensation right side of neck. Play with the positions here, tucking chin towards left collarbone, slight forward tilt of head. Notice. Lifting chin away from collarbone, slight back tilt of head. Feel it more down the front side of the neck. And then either moving between the two or anywhere else. When you feel something really good, linger for a breath or two. If you know there's one part that's particularly tight, maybe focus on that. Release any tension that may have crept in. And bring your focus right back into the body, under the skin. A little bit longer here. Just lose yourself in what is happening. Take a big breath in. As you exhale, roll your chin to your chest, head to neutral. Right hand will release to the thigh. Lift the head, big roll of the shoulders up and back. Good. Blink open the eyes. And make your way over onto your all fours. You can shift your blanket roll off towards the side. You're done with that now. As you're on your all fours, take your right arm and thread it underneath your left armpit. Drop all the way down, shoulder, cheek, and temple. Take your left hand and rest it in front of the face. Back of right hand is on the ground. If you don't comfortably come all the way down with the shoulder and the arm, you can even grab that blanket roll and pop it underneath your right shoulder to bring the ground to you, or underneath the head if the head doesn't rest on the ground comfortably. So there's a few options here. You can stay here. This is a really nice place to be. Some of you might like to take your left arm long to the top of the mat. I quite like that. It gives an extra stretch down through the left side body. Others might prefer to rest left palm in right. If you do that, you'll hold your right arm in place so you can lean into the back of that right shoulder. There is a little extra here with your left leg. You can take it out to the side towards the hands. That'll also kickstand you so you can lean deeper into the right shoulder. It'll create a sense of twist through the torso. Whatever you've chosen to do, just be still once you've found the perfect shape. Resist the temptation to fidget and shuffle, to seek more. Moving only if you need to back off a little bit.
Focus your breath into the back of your right shoulder and into your right rib cage. Notice when you breathe in and the ribs expand, the sensation deepens. As you exhale, the rib cage contracts, the sensation reduces. Lean into your deep, long breath. Balance your breath with a count if necessary. Notice this shape as a full body experience, a full body expression. Take just a little longer here, another half minute or so. And certainly if you prefer longer holds, you're welcome to pause the video and stay for longer and unpause when you're ready to move. And 3 more breaths here. If you had your leg out to the side like I do, take your left knee back down to the mat next to your right. Take your left hand and reach it to the top of your mat. Press down into your left hand. Unthread your right arm. Right hand to the top of the mat. Hands as wide as the mat, fingers spread. Drop your chest down and your forehead down towards the ground for Anahata. Again, you're welcome to take your blanket roll underneath the armpits to bring the mat up towards you. You can take a block underneath the forehead here or the blanket roll under the forehead. This is pretty strong for the side body, for the side lats. If you feel a pinching in the top of your shoulders, separate your hands a little bit further apart. And let the weight of the front of the ribs sink into the ground as the chest becomes spacious. And take 5 more breaths here. It's a very short hold. Press into your hands. Begin to walk your hands in, back onto your all fours. And once there, slip your left arm underneath the right armpit. Shoulder, cheek, and temple will sink down to the ground. Variations as before. Stay, right hand in line with the face. Otherwise, you might like to interlace the hands or even take your right arm long to the top of the mat once more. Some of you might even like to add the leg on as the right leg comes out towards the side. If the leg is to the side, try and press the outer edge of the foot down into the ground. And then let yourself lean on into the left shoulder. Focus your breath in your left ribs and the back of the left shoulder. Use that depth and length of breath to help create more space around that side of the body. You may notice differences and imbalance between the sides. It's very common. Don't try and analyze that. Just be aware of it. Take a little bit longer here, about another half minute is all. Last couple of breaths here. If you have the right leg to the side like I do, and just bring the knees back together. Begin to back off, but not come out completely. Take your right palm in line with the face. Go on and unthread the left back onto your all fours, your tabletop. One round cat-cow. Inhale, drop the belly, lift the heart. Exhale, go ahead and dome through the upper back. Tuck the chin to the chest. Press away and linger here for another 2 breaths. Just rock back and forward. One more breath. Return neutral spine, flat back. Step your right foot to the top of your mat between your hands. You will want your pillow here, and your block or your book, if you have it, might be handy. Blanket roll, less likely, so slip that off to the side. And then keep both hands either side of your right foot. If you have a tender left knee and you need padding there, slip your blanket underneath your left knee. It can be nice to just pad that out. We'll be on the left knee for a little while. Allow the hips to sink forward and down. I'm going to come into a few variations of dragon posture. Each one will only be a minute, so it's not a long time, but it does get quite strong fairly quickly. If you find there's a sensation of being stuck in your right hip, take your right foot a little bit wider and take both hands inside the foot. That might help. Take another few breaths here. Let the pelvis be heavy. You'll probably feel this in the right hip, but also the front of the left hip. If you haven't already, heel toe your right foot a bit wider so both hands are inside the foot. You can turn the toes out at an angle, but make sure the knee tracks over the toes. Stay here. It'll get a bit stronger. Some of you will need to stay up in your hands. Others of you will be able to come all the way down onto your forearms. If the ground is too far away and the hands are too high, grab your pillow and bring your forearms to your pillow so you bring the ground up towards you. Tiny rock of the hips side to side. And then find your stillness. A few breaths here. Notice if there's any gripping. Release if possible. Lean into your breath out. Lengthen it. These long holds allow us to access deep into the tissues, the muscles, but also the surrounding tissue. Allowing them to shift, build up. Allowing them to rehydrate. To become smooth and supple. You can stay here. Those of you who are looking for something different, come back to your hands. Left hand down to the mat a little wider. Take your right hand to your inner right thigh. Press it away from you. Look over your right shoulder so there's a twist in your torso. Front of your left hip will start dropping forward and down. You can stay here, and some of you might squeeze your left heel in and reach back for your left foot with your right hand into that cattail. If you do, just look back over the right shoulder. 5 breaths, this last part. One more breath here. Very careful release of the foot if you have it. Both hands down inside your right foot. Press into your hands to pick up some weight of your pelvis. Turn your right toes forward. And just slip the hips back in space, purely to come out of that right knee for a moment. Step your right foot back onto your all fours. And just press back buttocks to heels for 2 breaths in child's pose. Come up onto your all fours and step your left foot between your hands to start with. Make yourself comfortable with your right knee. Again, if this feels yucky for your left hip and very stuck, you can take both hands inside the foot straight away, but keep those left toes pointing forward to start with. Resist the temptation to turn them out right away. Soften into your breath. Just start to notice how the hips feel this side, front of right, deep in the left. Bring both hands inside the left. Take the left foot a tiny bit wider. Begin to turn the toes out if that feels good. Knee tracks over ankle. By shifting the thigh bone, the femur out of the way, you may have more space for the pelvis to drop forward and down. Noticing every change you make and the feedback from the body. Whether you choose to go deeper or stay is up to you. Forearms to mat or perhaps just to your pillow. That might allow you to send your left foot a bit wider. You may even drop to the outside edge of the foot, letting the knee fall out. Always in your yin practice, find a variation of the shape that feels comfortable for your body, that feels safe. If you're experiencing any pain, of course you just come straight on out. You shift and you move into a position that is pain-free. Yeah, there's deep sensations here. It can be a lot, but that deep sensation is very different to pain. Couple more breaths here. And then absolutely stay or back up to the hands. Right hand as wide as the mat, left hand inside your left thigh. Press it away, drop the front of the right hip to find twist. I press my right hand down into the mat and then hug the shoulder blade into the midline. Maybe you stay here, maybe you reach your left arm back and go on and grab your right foot. 5 breaths here, whatever variation you're taking, or drop back to the one before if you need to. One more breath here. Careful release of the foot, slowly it comes to the mat. Both hands inside your left foot. Ground the sole of your left foot, toes point forward. Pick up some weight of your pelvis. And then slip your hips back just to lengthen into the left leg to come out of the knee. Slip your left knee back to meet your right. Buttocks to heels, child's pose. This time perhaps your arms down by your sides, palms up. Two more breaths here. As you come out of your child's pose, shift all of your props off and out towards the side. You do not need them anymore. And come and lie down on the back of your body on your mat. This is a little hard to see with the camera at the angle it is, but we'll do our best. Take your arms up and overhead behind you. With your right hand, take hold of your left forearm and start to draw your left arm overhead to the right. Keep your hips center and still so the buttocks don't move. And then just shuffle your head and your shoulders over towards the right side of the mat. Keep that right arm drawing up and over as well. You'll start to feel an increase of space down the left side body, armpit, ribcage, waistline. When you're happy with the set of your shoulders, again, hips and buttocks stay still, they don't move. You might slip your feet over towards the bottom right corner of the mat. I like to hook my left ankle over the top of the right thigh, making sure the right buttock is not stuck underneath you though. We're aiming to make a banana shape with the body. Right side is short, left side is long. Close down the eyes and then breathe into the left side of your body. If you feel a pinching in the waistline or around the back, just release a touch until it's gone. You're not going to be here for super long. It's about 10 or so breaths, but stretch the breaths. Pause at the peak. Pause at the trough. Again, allow this shape to be a full body experience. The feel of the mat beneath you, the feel of the air above you, the breath within you. Three more breaths. Last breath here, big breath in. As you exhale, feet to center. Torso to center. Arms slip down by your side just for a moment. Notice the difference between right and left side bodies. Reach your arms up and overhead. Left hand, of course, right forearm this time. Draw the right arm overhead and then shuffle the head and shoulders across to the left. Hips, buttocks, stay still. When you're happy with the head and shoulders, shuffle the feet over towards the left. Maybe there's a hook at the ankles, maybe not. The head will fall naturally here. Don't overthink the shape. Allow your breath to come into that whole right side of your body. Outer edge of hip, waist, ribs, armpit. Again, being acutely aware of the feel of the mat. The air. The breath. The tissues. And even the energetics. Find a little longer here. Lingering in this place. It's often by this point in the practice that you're just so present. There is a deep sense of stillness that is kind of draped over the body like a blanket. Take a big breath in here. Exhale completely. Another breath in. And let your feet return to center. Followed by the torso. And release your arms down by your side, palms up. Bring the knees in towards the chest. Be careful, the low back can feel a little tight. And just rest one hand on each kneecap. It's a loose drawing in. And have a rock side to side. Can make circles of the sacrum on the ground. You take circles, go in both directions. Find a big breath in, squeeze in. As you exhale, release your legs long down the mat. Arms rest by your side. Final resting place for this practice. Stay as long as you can. Shavasana.
encourage you to enjoy your Shavasana for many minutes. Thank you for your time, for your practice. Namaste.